reach out to the human spirituality during that time.
Now God has delivered over 20 prophets.
But just look at that.
The last being the prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Before him being Isa bin Maryam, who you call Jesus Christ. He was also a prophet. Right? But he was not God. He was not God. He was the son of God, and the Al-Quran. No, he was not the son of God. You know, the problem is the misconception, the text, the misrepresentation in that text. For the simple reason, when you say son of God, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, the problem that Muslims most have is to say, is likening a human being to God.
Yeah.
So karibuni kwa show, imekuwa wiki 3 but we are back. Leo tuna mgeni mpya na kuna wazee hapa. I think mnakumbuka Lex, mtasikia sauti nyuma. Tashe pale. Huyu mwingine wacha introduce. Wewe ni nani? Who are you?
Mimi naitwa Wangara Leroy.
Hivi ndio jita Twitter.
Twitter ni Leroy Wangara, @Leroy Wangara.
Sasa tueleze kidogo kuhusu una passions gani hivi?
Mimi? Mimi sina passion. Mimi ni kijana ya mtaa, sura mbaya, roho safi.
Kijana barobaro.
Na sina mambo mingi na
unajitafutia.
Passion yangu by the way, acha nikwambia nao na serious note. Just pia nisi joke sana. Passion yangu ni self improvement. I am constantly on a journey to improve myself.
So every day
as a human being.
You get better every day.
Yes.
Even if it's a little percentage.
It's the little things. I wake up, I make my bed.
Unakusha book fulani sijui ilikuwa inaitwaje? Atomic Habits. Ukisoma hiyo book kama
unasoma Atomic Habits.
Every day you do something small but
that is 100. Even ndio journey. And I think that for me has become a more important journey than being a doctor or being a teacher or being a
lakini nimefuatilia
mimi ni mzazi.
Nimefuatilia mambo yake.
Nimeona ulikuwa umejaribu kusimama kiti pale Ululua Wood pale Ngong, mtaa inaitwa Ngong.
Sasa kitu sijaambia ni mimi ni mwanasiasa hatari.
Kwa hivyo sijakosea.
Sijakosea bro yangu.
Nimefuatilia mambo yako bana.
Mimi ni mwanasiasa hatari.
Kitu ulipata
last time ilikuwa
sikupata kiti.
Walikuibia
kiti inaitwa unajua naweza sema waliniibia. Unajua wanasiasa wote wanasema waliniibia, hata yule alipata kura 2. By the waliniibia tu yangu.
Hiyo masuri ya Raila.
Hiyo ndio za Buda kila wakati anatuambia jo alimcrop. Na mbona Buda asiwa crop? But ni bado mimi ni mtu wa Buda. So sitabonga mob. But what I'll tell you is safari yangu ni sikufika kwa I didn't get to the ballot. Nilikuwa kwa kachama kanaitwa, there was a village party. It was called the Jubilee Party.
Jubilee.
Hiyo ni chama ya mashinani. Tulichinja hiyo ndege. Hapo hakuna chama. Niambia hata wafanye nini hapo. Jubilee ina heshima na viongozi.
Jubilee must fall.
Makosa ilikuwa ya Jubilee. Tulichinja hiyo ndege, bottom line.
Mkaikula.
Hatukuikula, tuliona nyama.
Mnaendelea kuikula za yenyewe.
Tuliweka kwa wheelbarrow. Bas. Lakini mimi ni mtu napenda machungwa sana. Mimi ni mtu napenda machungwa sana. You must never forget. Unajua the struggle has been real. As much as you want to know where we are going. Unajua history repeats itself. Jogo limeza tinga nini. But I'll tell you, you must never forget where we came from. I'll tell you in Kenya. Hata kama Buda anaweza kosa kuwa rais, unajua pia hii mambo, hii uongozi ni Mungu anapeana. So in Uganda, opposition leaders are still being detained without trial.
Huko dictatorship bado.
So things like that don't happen in Kenya because of Raila Amolo Odinga.
So unamheshimu.
Lazima Buda apewe
heshima yake.
But I think it's not as the way to handle this.
Yes. Lakini you know, as you get older, unatupia unajionea tu. Unajua pia sisi mafala. Unajua pia.
Kweli.
Unakaa unasoma rada. Mimi kwanza kama slogan yangu ya 2022 ilikuwa hii ni yetu. Nilikuwa nimesema chagueni Wangara Leroy, hii ni yetu.
Ilikuwa first try ama?
Ilikuwa ya kwanza. Chama yetu ya mashinani kakata kufanya nominations. So what they decided to do is they called for us a barazas of wazes. I don't know those wazes were from where.
Or the Jubilee Party.
Yeah. So I think the area member was, there's a mzee called Manje. Manje is It's a useless man. Manje has been a member of parliament for 2 terms. In fact, the only mistake he made was to run for deputy governor. And I say he's a useless man with tremendous respect, because I think if Manje had ran for member of parliament again, yeye ndio angekuwa mbunge yangu saizi. All right?
Yeah.
But he decided alikuwa anaenda ECG. Unajua ambition is priceless. Nenda akatafuta unaibu gavana, akashikana na mtu mwingine bure anaitwa Nkedienye. Mambo yake ikashindikana.
Jina sijazisikia.
Sasa mimi nilikuwa na, unajua imaji ya UDA ilikuwa inabeba kila mtu. Right? Hata ilikuwa ibebe mpaka gavana yangu Lenku. Alikuwa abebe na maji ya UDA. Hadi kweli ile mbele ya Mungu.
Tacho unakubali hapo?
Resident. Alikuwa akibeba
but I will not agree with that one.
Ni sisi tulipanga kazi tukatengeneza daraja. Ndio akavuka. Yeye alikuwa abebe na hiyo maji.
Alikuwa abebe.
Tukapanga tukatengeneza daraja. Akavuka pande nyingine. Lakini ilifika wakati yangu ya kuvuka daraja, wakatoa hiyo kitu bala.
So sasa hivi wenye si tulichagua Ruto sasa, si yeye anatupelekaje hivi? Sasa hivi watu wanalia huku, maisha ni ngumu. Bili.
So vile nilikuwa nakwambia, Bili ni mse, Bili yako sawa.
Kusema venye atupeleka hivi mazee matax mazee.
Unajua ni ngori, lakini
akona vision.
I think unajua nilikaa chini kajiuliza, would Raila have done anything different?
Unajua tu kumchagua sasa tu.
Would he have continued? No, so he experienced his leadership under nusu mkate. It was 2013 he was prime minister. It was a national accord.
Kulikuwa kubaya kweli. Hiyo time nakumbuka wakiwa kwanza na Kibaki hapo I think.
Yes, but the set of circumstances were also different. And you know the problem I've also realized with siasa is hata Billy unajua, I think he knows what he's doing in terms for economy. I might not agree with
him. Ahead. Nisi atuoni.
I might not agree with him on certain things that he has decided to do. Kama kazi mtaani ilikuwa inasaidia vijana wangu. Mimi naingiaga mtaani vijana wanalia. Wananiambia, "Oe, uzingi hata siangetuachia tu kazi mtaani walai." Tupigage shughuli. Vijana walikuwa wanajuaga baada ya wiki mbili ako na bob yake 5. Ako na bob 500, sawa?
Akatoa hiyo.
Wajua mbona vijana wanakulaga mira? Ndio wapunguze masaa ya kuteseka. Sasa vijana wanashughuli. Kweli. So vijana wakipewa shughuli, time ya handa sinapungua. Sawa? Hakuna hata kuombaomba inaisha. Mimi sijui kama unapatana na watu mtaani wanakuambia, Slim, nimefurahi kukucheki. Unafurahi nini kunicheki? Juu sasa umejiambia mimi nitakuachia.
Utamwachia kitu.
Kazi ni kuombaomba.
Tumetaja hiyo story. Nataka nikuulize, hiyo ni story muhimu sana. Kuna importance. Sasa kama una time ya siasa. Wasi walikuwa na ku-approach yote mlikuwa na campaign wanakuambia ni aje tujenge na do you think inafaa kuwa hivyo ati
Unfortunately not. I think it is a very sad state of affairs, but unfortunately it is the reality on the ground. Siasa, unajua kuna siku tulienda kuona tulikuwa na kucheki mzee mwingine tukiwa na best yangu ni MCA Ngongo anaitwa Mbiriri alishinda. Tunaenda kucheki mzanga na wengine unajua mzanga anatuambia nini? Unajua vijana mimi sikatai mko na maoni. Lakini mnasahau kweli wa maisha. Hizi kazi za bunuasi raia wanunue. Hadi wewe nitafanya wallahi. Ni challenge kwa sababu kama, and that is why in fact let me tell you that also brought me to the conclusion that I'm personally of the opinion that the position of the member of the county assembly be reserved for the youth.
Yeah.
All right?
That sounds
it should be a career option for the youth as opposed to a retirement plan for the older generation.
They are growing to the bigger.
Me I'm fresh out of uni at the age of 23, 24. And I have a management course. I know how I can manage the 30 million shillings that I'm given as a ward representative in Kajiado County, for example, because that's the county I come from. I know more about it. Kuna ma-counties napoa 40, ward development fund tofauti. So me I'm 23 out of uni and I know I can manage these resources and make something good come better for the betterment of society. But now, iko kamzeka ingine, he's been in public service for over 25 years maybe, all right? He has retired. Ako na ka pension hivi and he has 2 successful businesses. Alafu anakaa hivi kibahati mbaya ama kibahati mzuri MCA wa area anakufa by election inaitwa. Huyo mzee anaona
opportunity.
Iko ile kiti ya MCA pale mtaani. All right? And you're supposed to compete with that old man. You don't have an income. In fact, if anything, you're still highly dependent on your parents, for example. Hauna hiyo kweli ya maisha. But you know for a fact that if you had been given a chance to manage a ward, you can do a very excellent job. Now you're supposed to compete with a man who has a pension and has 2 successful businesses. Hata kuweka poster brother, akiweka poster za 60,000. Wewe una
ni shida.
Kabla utoe poster jo mtu wangu, poster tu ati watu wasemage tunajua gaslim. Oh my goodness. Shida mara 100. So I do not think anyone above the age of 40 should be contesting for member of the county assembly. Hiyo mimi ni kukula chakula ya watoto.
Kuna kitu kingine huko youths, unajua watu waamini ni politics. Tunajua nyinyi mkiingia hapo mnaenda tu kuiba. Wewe ungefanya kitu yote different. Tuseme kitu ka weed ungelegalize. Unajua ndio watu na watu youth wanalilia huko chini huko nje huko.
That is a good question.
Wanasema legalize the herb.
Legalize the herb.
Acha nataka kusikia Lex na nani kwanza. Lex na
Lex unaweza legalize.
Nataka kusikia
you are a politician.
If you are a politician, would you legalize the
even without being a politician? Would you legalize marijuana?
Is it right?
I will not say it is right, but it is wrong. This is why. You know, Kenya has not reached a point whereby it is mature enough to handle that drug.
Okay.
In terms of character.
But let me rebuttal that. So Kenya is mature enough to handle massive bottles of whiskey and vodka, but not mature enough to handle
even more dangerous.
Tobacco.
Umeenda sasa pale nataka uende. Unaona sasa kama pombe mtu hawezi kuwa discipline. Hii ya kuvuta ndio atakuwa discipline.
I would argue with that because I think it has a different effect. I don't think how alcohol makes you.
Absolutely.
Mimi siwezi jua. Unajua mimi najua bangi ni mbaya. Lakini
unajua ni mbaya?
Si mimi najua bangi ni mbaya.
But US kuna states zime legalize.
Ni mbaya mno.
Aje hivyo ndio tumeambia na wazazi. Tunaenda na ni mbaya.
Hii kitu.
On that note, ikiwa legalized, hatakuwa na order.
But I'll tell you one thing you can do about legalization is
inaleta chaos. To me, because maturity ya watu, sasa nimeongea kuhusu maturity. Itakuwa more of chaos than order.
But I think that is highly speculative. I do not think that you can assert for a fact that in the case that you were to legalize marijuana or even in fact decriminalize. We do not have to legalize marijuana, but you can at least make sure that it is not a criminal offense to be found in possession of marijuana.
In fact, me think
on a certain age.
Of course 18. Now let me tell you, do you know the abuse of marijuana is at its highest for the simple reason that the drug is not regulated. If you are regulating the drug, then we can say marijuana is abused more than tobacco, than cigarettes
True.
by young people, because at the end of the day utaitwa mali yoyote anadai kuitoa. Alright, but if you are to regulate it, it makes it easier for us to tunaweza sema haya hii ni paki ya gode, strictly not for sale to persons below the age of 18. Sasa utaambia pedi mgani asizie nini?
Let me ask this Leroy. You know tunaongea kuhusu marijuana, kwa nini why marijuana is bad, but you're not saying exactly why it's bad, because alcohol, you know, alcohol is bad because it's bad for your liver. You know cigarettes are bad because it causes cancer. But nataka tu mtu aniambie why is marijuana bad, only that.
It causes hallucinations.
Mimi nasikianga tuseme watu wazee wanasemanga inafanya uchizi, utakuwa chizi.
Kuna hebu mtu mmoja ajitokeze hivi.
No, but I'll tell you for a fact, I have witnessed drug induced psychosis. All right, there is drug induced psychosis is
from marijuana.
Hata wazee wetu warasta wanatuambia do not abuse the herb, it's gonna crush your head. Nakwambia tusikule. That is in drug induced.
But a drug, even alcohol is a drug, so you can get some psychosis from alcohol.
So your point is for the simple reason that alcohol is not illegal, then marijuana should not be illegal.
My point is, why was marijuana made illegal in the first place?
That's a good question.
We are not the people who made it illegal. It was made illegal by people we don't even know. Maumau amevuta hii kitu na ndio wakatupatia uhuru. Ninyi mkosoma mwezi hata tukomboa na Ruto.
No problem.
Why I've talked about maturity, once they legalize that thing, it will be a gateway to other monolithic drugs.
But Alex, look at this. Ebu cheki. Like a young kid can access a bottle of vodka.
Yeah,
we don't know how they access it, but unaweza pata mtu yako form 2 saizi ana device for real. Unajua hizo ni realities. Sema watu wapigwa mapicha tao wakitembea ati mazee studio ati ni day report shule amekeo tao. Ule dem alipatikana tao ile day. So they're getting access to these things.
So how sure
hold on Alex. Now I'm asking myself this, Ebu tukue serious. What is mimi as a normal citizen? What is easier to acquire? A bottle of liquor or a roll or a joint of marijuana? Number one, liquor unanunua na pesa. Marijuana unaweza enda upande hapo na uende shule na urudi huko.
Ukinekaa sukuma hapo hiyo.
what I'm saying is this, I think we should, this is my opinion, Number one, tunafai turudi tuangalie, first to begin at this point, does hemp, marijuana, the plant have any economical value? Tuangalie, okay, if it has economical value, kwanza to exploit economical value, sawa? After we're done with the economical
health
value...
is more important than economic.
No, after
let us address the health issue first.
Okay,
is it harmful to your health?
We're coming to that, Even Coca-Cola is harmful to your health, but we still take it. So, after we address all the economical issues, tunaanza kwanza na economics. Tuseme, no one will be smoking it. Unaona, ama whatever law will be passed. Tuseme, let's look at it this way. Let's first use it for industrial purposes. Alafu sasa tukae tuangalie, we do research. There's no country which can exist without research. Tuende Mathare, tuulize watu huku. Wale watu wote wameingia Mathare, watu wangapi wameingizwa huku na kitu inaitwa bangi. Unaona? Me, I'm telling you for a fact, I think 80% of the people in Mathare, none of them went there because of marijuana smoking.
And I'll tell you another thing. 80% of the people in our Kenyan prisons languishing there are marijuana smokers. So the main reason we are doing it is to reduce the number of non-violent offenders incarcerated by the system. It is very unfair that mi nikivuta kagode kangu brother na niko kwangu mi sija kusumbua. Wewe ukimwaga maji ya marage inuke huko mtaani. Wewe nani akipigia polisi? Nani ameipigia polisi? Na hiyo maji yako inatuharibia niko.
Wewe ndio unafaa kupigia polisi.
Sasa mimi navuta bangi yangu, niko kwa nyumba yangu, sisumbui mtu. Lakini mnataka mnanipigia polisi nikishikwa hivi. Anaambiwa ati wewe mtu yangu wewe nitaenda miaka 3 minimum. Right? To do what? For smoking a joint, for smoking a J, you guy. And there are people who are found to have found culpable of conspiracy to defraud. So you're saying, and they are going to jail for less than 20 million shillings, 30 million shillings.
Sasa tuko stories za Haiti. Nasikia UN Council imeapprove Kenya kwenda Haiti pale
kuweka usalama.
Kuweka peace, tuseme kuleta peace. What's your take on
yes, that? Ni peace wameenda kuweka. Hiyo ni peace.
Si wanasema kuna gangs huko zinasumbua watu, kuna
magenge hatari mbaya. Kwanza unajua ni the capital.
Watasaidia kweli? Tuko na hiyo capability polisi wetu wenye unaonanga huko nje.
Tuko na muskara hatari mtu wangu, acha nikwambie.
Polisi tunaenda hivyo wanatuishia machuani huko nje.
Unajua sasa si hao wanaenda.
Ni nani hao?
Askari wa bamba, acha baki. I don't think in the case that they are going to deal with people who are armed, my G's.
So lazima mara ina risk code.
So wale wanatumia golf, wanatumia GSU. Wanatumia alpha, wanatumia AP, kuna AP hatari, unajua kama unajua kuna training watu wanapata ngori. Unajua kuna kama SOG, unajua SOG?
Nimesikia.
SOG ni askari, ni Special Operations Group. RDU, the Rapid Deployment Unit. Rapid Deployment Unit. Unaona hao ndio watu.
Hawatazana nao
magari Kirio Valley sijui wapi.
Hao na wameshindwa na hao watu wa Kirio Valley.
Sasa unajua ni close quarter. Unajua pia hapo pia sheria za mi bottom line tuache to cut the long story short. I think tao hawezi shindwa. Nimeona kwanza unajua IG wetu anaitwa Kome. Kome unajua alikuwa police commandant Nairobi. Na hiyo wakati akiwa commandant Nairobi anajua hii kazi. Mimi nakwambia Nairobi kulikuwa kumetulia, kuna so kama ni vita ya tao ya vijana labda watu wamejidesa, lakini unajua pia na zile tunaenda kuona Haiti ni mambo tofauti. Hakuna timu 45
hiyo ni country yao naenda huko.
Huko ni Alpha Kilo na manini vitu zinapiga, kitu inatoa sauti hivi unatia roho, si ndio? Sisi kama golf tango imepigwa karibu na G3 imepigwa karibu na
lazima siji bunduki nini.
Sasa bottom line kama wataenda kupatana nini assault rifles huko na hawezi jua pia wale watu wako na nini. Unaona?
Kweli.
Lakini kama ni high whatever zitogwa nini?
Nini?
Si high velocity zinaitwa nini? High caliber weapons. Itakuwa ni ngori. Hatuwezi tuma askari ya traffic. Hatuwezi tuma mtu alienda kiganjo ati ni 99 ama ati aliandikwa kazi juzi. Ani watu wako na shughuli, wanapiga za shughuli. Unaona kama bipu. Dipu ni border patrol unit. Iko vijana wenu wanaitwa hivyo, wanatokaga administration police. Unajua si askari iko na vitengo. Iko na watu wa kazi. Zigaga.
So tuseme nicheki msee Twitter akisema sijui ati after SA na Egypt Kenya ndio imefollow kwa the best police force. That's the truth.
Hiyo mimi sijui lakini siwezi dispute sana. I think our police are well trained. I think they are very well trained.
Training.
Well, you know your performance is based on your training.
But why doesn't the training reflect on the performance? Because
you know that is entirely your opinion. What do you mean?
Let me ask you.
But two different entities.
Yeah, two different training and performance. Training and performance means you're not. In fact, let me tell you.
But your training determines how you will perform.
Let me tell you.
That is why here.
Not so here, but what I'm saying is this, mimi sitaki kugeneralize askari wote. Mimi I have a lot of respect for the Kenya Defence Forces.
True.
For real, unajua hata ukiangalia venye KDF wanajibeba, unaona ni watu wako na heshima.
So they are better than Romeo Company, for example.
Hata nikuambie, unaona wewe.
Are they better than the Reke Company, for example?
The Reke Company.
Why is it that when we got a Westgate attack, we did not call? Why is the government as currently constituted? Why does it believe that internal affairs can be, whether it is a terrorist attack of whichever nature, can be handled by the police and does not require the input of the military?
Ndio maana nimesema tu saa hizi
because the difference is not in training.
The training does not reflect in performance.
The difference is not in training. So you cannot tell me I have respect for KDF but I do not respect.
Sijasema hivyo, sikumaliza statement. I'm saying niko na heshima na KDF. Sema sina heshima
more than you have for the police.
More than I have for the
police.
Because of a lack of professionalism.
Absolutely. Na ndio maana hadi wamejaribu kubadilishwa na katiba from the walikuwa ni project.
Nani alikuwa na loot Westgate? Si KDF alikuwa na loot Westgate. Reke kwanza a unit of the police service did not even kutoka hata na bag moja ya nini. Sio unaona KDF kwa video Westgate wakitoka na masivu na manini. We did not see the police do that. And the Reke company that came in to clear the nini is a unit of the police force. It is not part of our Kenya Defence Forces.
But they highly trained people.
My point is a simple token of appreciation.
My point is we must first understand which was carried out by the KDF.
Who will give them the token of appreciation?
That is true. That is true. As much as we pay them a salary.
So I'll put it that way. They are good guys.
Najua hata Ruto tuliona juzi alipewa 100 hivi kwa stage. Akauliza kuna kamia nimepewa hapa iko na mtu. Akasema hakuna mtu kama haina mtu. So I think bottom line is kama haina mtu ni yako. But if I think for us to understand what the police is going to do in Haiti, we must first be able to comprehensively understand what our police service is capable of. Unajua the problem has been our perception that our police service ni TRO, ni traffic officer, ama is perhaps maybe a general duty officer. Ile askari unapata kwa OB. Maybe that is the perception we have of police officers.
We are usually very peaceful country, so hatunanga issues mob now.
Yes. But you must realize that the GSU are police officers, right? The Reke company, the border patrol unit are police officers, right? They train under the administration police service,
border patrol,
right? The rapid deployment unit. Alright, they asked to. We call them the anti-stock theft unit. Is a unit of the police service. It is not. That is why we call them paramilitary. Alright, but they fall under the police service, but not the defense forces.
Unajua tunaangalia history ya katiba. Unajua baadhi hata hiyo story iliadresiwa na katiba ile tumepitisha. Si ni kweli? Kwa sababu kitambo si ilikuwa inaitwa Kenya Police Force.
Yes. We change it from a force to a service.
Unaona? So now that informs the ability, in my opinion. Unaona? Alafu KDF ilikuwa inaitwa kitambo Kenya what?
Kenya Armed Forces.
Kenya Armed Forces, and then now they changed it to Kenya Defence Forces. Again, that signifies their role in a way. So me, in my opinion, my opinion, this is the opinion ya kila mtu. Haiti kuna msee anaitwa Beka. Sijui kama mmemsikia. Anaitwa Beka ama anaitwa nani?
Sijui. Anafanya nini? Anauza madawa serious.
Ama gang leader hao.
Buda, hebu cheki Haiti hadi wali assassinate Orezo msee.
2021.
Wali assassinate Orezo bana. Sasa wali assassinate Orezo. Sasa unataka kutuambia sisi
hatuwezi deal na watu kama hao.
No. Hiyo passion yote hapo na kuua preso.
That is not a preso. Watu si ujaribu kuwa rais leo.
Mbona ni wewe mimi sina shida.
Ukiweza if me I tell you today, if you're capable of it, nyinyi ni hata. That shows Haiti is not a country.
It's not a country, and then it shows, it shows that Haiti is not controlled by leaders. It is controlled by gangs, criminal gangs.
Kimehiko kama Mexico.
Unajua mimi na check situation hivi. Unajua ni noma kwa nini? Ukiangalia kama Kenya unapatanga wanasiasa wamekwa kwa mfuko, unaona? Unapatanga labda yenyewe umeingia kwa siasa uko na tudo umenunua wanasiasa wawili watatu wa kusupport, unaona? Ngori Haiti mimi naicheki hivi ni moja. Walai wameka hadi raia kwa mfuko. Unaona? Kwa sababu these gangs ni kama venye ilikuwa situation ya kina Pablo. Ama gangs wanalipa wasee. Unaona mtu anaitwa sijui Beka. Wanajenga wasee wanaingia street wanachimba mabohol kwa mtaa, wana make mabohol, wanaingia place nyingine wanajenga madoa, wanaingia wapi wanafanya nini? Community inaona effect ya wasee. Uende ukuje waambie ati watu ati huyu ni criminal, buda ni ngumu wa kuelewa. Juu society na feel effect yao more than they feel the government. Unaona? So I think that is a very terrible thing because these people, there are 1,000 guys going there, will not only be fighting against criminals, they'll also be fighting against civilians. Unaona? Because the civilians are heavily benefiting from these criminals, these criminal gangs. So hakuna venye civilian ataona ati mse wangu hapa ananipatianga $100 every single hour ama kuna dona alafu sasa ampeane haizi mpeana sema wewe bana mnakujiwa wewe shia because anajua msia akienda do yetu hatuna. That is why they manage to assassinate. Country gani mna assassinate preso hiyo design kusema.
In fact at that point ya kusema tuna assassinate president, that is how I've known the Kenya police service is very capable of handling that situation.
Yeah, true. Hapo ni kweli.
All right? That is not a serious country, my friend.
It is a banana republic.
That is not a serious. Ati rezo anaweza pigwa hivi kwa street. That is why I'm telling you. Si mjaribu kuchukua William leo.
Tutakuwa nao.
Kenya is a serious, my friend. Watu wako shughuli. Watu wako shughuli usiku na mchana. Kuna watu tough men are ready to go to war on your behalf. All right? So
but the leader,
for the simple reason that a country it should not be a country. Haiti kwanza they should I know unfortunately this sounds bad. But some things it should revert to being an inni of the United States. You know, United States the cotton plantations. What happened there? See, that's where the slaves went to settle.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, yes. They used to, the farmers, they used to, I think, farm cotton they used to plow cotton for the house nigger. The house nigger thought he was the master.
He was the master.
When the master was sick, the house nigger said he was sick. We were sick. So, cotton, after Haiti, when the slaves left, they went to Uka in Haiti and they formed their own whatever.
But how will the Kenyan police speak with those people? You know, they speak French.
Of course, there's a language barrier, but I'll tell you, the Americans went to Kuwait. Not to Kuwait. Kuwait was Bush the first, Bush 41. The Americans went in Bush 43. They went to Iraq. They took Saddam in how many days? I think it was in a I can't remember a couple of weeks. Maybe 3 weeks.
They took a very good leader.
I think in 3 weeks they took
but Saddam. They shouldn't have done it.
All right? How did they manage to take Saddam? They don't even speak their language. The Americans have been in Afghan for how many years? Afghans don't know English. So the language barrier is something that you can breach very easily.
Okay, mimi swali yangu ni moja. Mimi nitauliza tu hivi. Always mtu kwenda back to the basics. Why is it necessary for us to send people there? Because
it is the right thing to do. It is the human thing to do. They need our help.
Let me ask.
They have failed to help themselves.
Of all the countries, Kenya
why Kenya only?
Why Kenya?
That's what I'm telling you. That is, we can't wait for other people to act so that we act. You can't ask yourself why of all the countries in see to Menda, because if the other countries have seen it and they decide to do nothing, that does not mean that we should wait for Uganda to send people.
Is there a nation pushing us there?
Maybe.
That is also possible because by 2060.
Apart from
actually, I think by 2050, 65% of the world's labor force will come from Africa. That means it will be police officers, it will be nurses, it will be, but mostly in the blue collar jobs and whatever. The formal sector watataka tuingie sana, but once they can control the money, they will let us stay there. But the point is, it is very possible that we have a foreign entity
intervening in this thing.
Yes, intervening in this. Wanatusukuma zaidi. Maybe and you know how they do it. They don't come and tell you guys that you guys have to send 1,000 guys. They come and tell you now there's a program you are trying to bring peace to Haiti, and as we are a bit held up at the moment, and we see you have a free force, we will pay the allowances. Now you're telling a Kenyan who's here earning let's say 30 G's a month to go and fight in Haiti for maybe 300,000 shillings a month. All right. No ni kijana, you know where our police officers are recruited from.
More than willing to go.
Ametoka kuna kijana alienda kukimbia ametoka Madare, kuna yule ametoka Garbatula, amekula shida, amefanya nini, ametoka wapi? No, and they decided if I can make a living out of this because of my shooting skills, why not? I'll go and play much money in Haiti.
Ni job opportunity.
Yeah, so what they've done is they brought in the money. As we don't go the chumos to pay these guys, you think William Ruto is creating employment for the people that elected him to power? And so as much as maybe he might not have looked at it that way, maybe in the back of his mind was, actually that is the only way he looked at it. This is not the way he looked at it. It's like, hey, these guys have come and they've told me, you give us 1,000 people to take to Haiti, some of your best trained, and we will pay them 300,000. You see, I've helped 1,000 Kenyans to increase their salaries by almost 4 times
and also
or 5 times.
And also increase their chances
what
of
about the possibility of death?
Well, as much, let me tell you.
What about death?
It is death that they know of. They have accepted. It is, the primary role of any government is to protect its citizens.
Wow.
All right? I want to see you safe. That is my role. But once you have consented to, tumekubaliana. Wewe unajua unaweza enda ukose kurudi. Sawa. Lakini uko sawa.
1,000 wana kupigana na whole nation. You know about the slave revolution?
The problem is to think that the nation is the size of Kenya. Haiti is the size of Nairobi. How big is Haiti? How big is the territory of Haiti? I think we can Google.
In square miles.
My friend, it's some it's just like an island.
Square miles.
It's actually an island.
It is an island.
It's a small nation. Like unajua kupigana na a country the size of Nairobi with the 2,000 officers. Buda, sasa kama ingekuwa ndogo
hivi
na yani ni ndogo hivyo na imewashinda, unaona? Sasa
that's what I'm telling you. Haiti is not worthy of being called a state or an independent or sovereignty or whatever. It is should be a protectorate of Kenya. In fact, once we go and we do our things there, we should put our flag there.
Maybe they're using as an arm.
100.
Umze anasema
Kenya should be Haiti should be a protectorate of Kenya. Once we win that war for them, we put our flag there. Tunaweka ngao. Tunaweka ngao kila mahali.
Nataka kupeleka wa Kenya.
Why not? I mean,
because there is another.
That is not a serious country. That is not a serious
square miles. 80 square miles. No, kilometers squared need 27,750.
27,000 kilometers squared.
27,750
kilometers squared.
Square kilometers.
About Nairobi.
Baringo County, I think, is 11,000 square kilometers.
That's like 2
yes.
and 2 point.
That is like 3 Baringos. And Baringo is not even among the largest county. Google the largest county in Kenya. I think it's Turkana or Marsabit.
Largest county in Kenya. I'll have to Google the size of Kenya.
In terms of square kilometers.
The largest county in Kenya is Turkana County. 71,500.
It is 3 times the size of Haiti.
3 times the size of Haiti.
And then you're telling us that we got fuck Haiti. Tunaweka bendera yetu huko tukishashinda hiyo vita.
Tuweke bendera yetu hapo.
Na Ruto anakuwa anasema how they pay tax.
Na walishinda wakoloni.
Na walishinda wakoloni.
Hiyo ni ukweli.
But with the first African country,
that's what they are strategizing to do eventually.
To do what?
To colonize Haiti.
Yes, but
the international community would never agree.
An arm to do that.
Yes, maybe. And then now, after we've done the heavy lifting, America comes in and says,
but
these
now
guys, they need our money.
They don't want to be seen they are doing it directly. They just use us.
That's interesting. But again, wewe kama kiongozi, I think mimi nikiangalia vitu na viongozi wetu wanatuangusha bado.
Kiongozi ni kuongoza.
Kutuongoza wapi?
Hebu niulize kama unaona sasa
kwa shimo. Technically kutuongoza wapi?
Swali moja
hivyo ndio watu wanafikiria sasa, imagine watu wengi.
Swali moja mimi hujiuliza is why we always elect the wrong people. Tumesema ndio, mimi in my opinion, unajua hapa kuna masupport wa kila mtu. Kuna support wa baba hapa, kuna support wa UDA, kuna support wa Jakoya hapa. Watangula wote wako na wase, unaona?
Baba Fidel.
Baba Fidel. Lakini mimi always say this, hii point mimi narudianga kila saa. If I'm to choose a leader, enyewe naona ni magaidi wawili. Unaona? Na enyewe ni lazima nichague mtu. Unaona? Mwizi amekuja kwako wezi wawili. Unaambiwa uchague mmoja. Huyu atakuua, huyu mwingine atakuchinja, lakini utaba.
Huyu mwingine ataiba anigawie kidogo.
Unaona? So these guys are all in my opinion all the same. Lakini what informs my decision on who I'll choose is the track record. Ndaangalia niseme nani kuna track record ya wizi. Unaona? Nione huyu ako na track record of clear theft and plundering of public resources.
You can prove it. You must be able to prove it. You know, he who alleges must prove.
And then again, why is it that in civilized countries an allegation is enough to send you home? In civilized, okay, I agree.
Because of integrity, I think chapter 6 yao is stronger kuliko.
It is stronger than ours. So I don't know. I think we have we tend to elect the wrong people. Kwa sababu ukiangalia,
but the question is there a right person?
There isn't a right person. Lakini there's always we
can't always say that we've elected the wrong person.
If I elect you, you're not the right person.
I really don't know. Let me tell you, kuna wase bado watakwambia mimi ni mse mbaya, but I will do whatever is based on how I understand things.
Wewe unataka kuambia mavijana nini ukielectiwa? Maybe assuming
kama kuna watu wamenikula kichwa ni vijana. Mimi sijui, unajua vijana wapangui ngui. Mimi wazai naweza jua, wazai nitawapanga hivi. Nyinyi wakulima wangapi? Sawa, utapataka chakula yako ya kuku, utapata fertilizer. Nini mnataka retirement benefits? Sawa, wazai mtaelewana very fast.
Because
vijana
vijana wanataka kila kitu.
Mimi nakwambia youth ni youth.
Kile yako nataka.
Hakuna mtu mhard kuelewana naye kama youth. Unajaribu kuelewa mtu hata yeye hajajielewa. You know, we also trying to figure ourselves out at the end of the day. Kila mzee anajaribu kujigutuka.
But what would you like to do for them now that they are not aware of themselves?
I just think more opportunities in terms of unaona sit kwa studio. Mimi sijui mbona studios zavako mpaka wa leo 60 years after independence ni vitu yani ati hakuna. Ati kwa social hall ni nyumba tu umejengewa. Mbona social hall haina studio?
In fact
hata gym inaga. Acha niwaambie, mimi sijui kama mnajua social hall mingi. Hata hakunaga gym. Kuna mapad kama 3, labda kuna bag moja ya kurusha dondi na skipping rope kama 2.
Na ni gunia sio.
Ni gunia imejaa simiti. That is fine. Bora tu lakini hakuna shughuli ya vijana inapigwa.
But it is scarce and it's very sad.
Yes, but why is like 60 years into independence? Why don't we have where a kiddo can come?
True.
And see, hatuwezi lipa stima once because this is a one time cost. Sawa, hii ni kitu tutakula do mara moja. Ile the recurrent cost hapo ni stima na producer. Producer pia hizi toka nili. All right? Na pia kuna producers wengi watakuja hapo wanataka tu kunini na skills zao. So at the end of the days, if I can make a track for this person, me I'll go out and hustle and see how I can sell it and make whatever I can out of it. So we'll also get a lot of free producers as much as we'll need the ones that we pay.
On that note, what's your take on Kenyan music? Tuko wapi? Korada. Sumeada Africa too.
I mean, it's been long since I had Kenyan music. It's been a minute. I used to like Sauti Sol. I think Calligraph is doing his thing.
But nowadays
wasisikizi mziki sana ya Kenya.
So heri ya maju. Uko wapi sasa?
Sisikizi sana. I fell out of love with music. You know, this music used to be my life. Lakini sasa right now I'll listen to music when I come across it. And you know, people are different. Me I used to penda muziki. Kwanza mimi nilikuwa msanii mbaya sana. Nikinipata hapo kwa Julius Owino.
Ulikuwa jita nani?
Hino.
Hebu rusha 2-3. Sikukumbushe.
Ulikuwa jita nani hiyo time?
Walikuwa wanaita EXO.
Hebu rusha 2-3 EXO. Tukumbuke mambo ni flow. Mstari hawajali sana. Uliza sana nani mfalme wa mapenzi bana. Huwezi kana niliingia tofauti vizuri sana kushinda marapa mahutu. Msema kweli. Huwezi nipinga hatari kuliko kimi my nigga. Huwezi jikinga na historia ujirudia hata jogoo limeza pinga. Mafans na hapa moyo na nyima paka middle finger. Niko biz kama sonjo, flow kama kojo, niko street kama soro. Siezi kama soto, niko na biz kwa ngoto 24 kwa ndoto. Sikiza musko bro. Hii mziki nimeiva kama mtoto. Anyway. Kiongozi
talanta yote ulipeleka wapi bro?
Dreams za kutoka studio zilisha maji.
Mwa zilisha.
Hiyo ngozi ilikuja ikaleta mambo mingi. Katukoroga.
Ama ni pesa hakuna kwa muziki.
Sana haipei.
Msikia huyo.
Lakini
sana haipei. Kali sana.
Hiyo ilikuwa challenge kitambo, lakini unajua ukiuliza mtu kama Calligraph atakwambia. Calligraph amemake do kutoka kwa muziki. Sauti Sol. We have to give it up for Sauti Sol. Jeki.
Wako shughuli yao.
So Gengeton si mbaya.
Wakardinali, unajua Wakardinali?
Najua Wakardinali.
Unacheki aje?
naweza wachukua raundi ya kwanza. Lakini big up kwa Kardinali.
Mimi natambua mimi hiyo ndo marapa wangu.
Na mahali hakuenda na ni sahi. Kazi nzuri watu wangu, kazi nzuri wanafanya.
So like people now that we talk about music.
Hata namba 8 alifanya kazi nzuri. Unajua si watu wa enzi za BC kwa DC yani British Council hatuko tunakosa. Morocco sijui Morocco liingilia pombe sana ama nini. Simuoni kwa mtandao, simuoni jia mitambo. My favorite of all time of course ni Johnny V. Unajua kuna time Johnny V aliambia Calligraph hata uvimbe aje sipatikani huko blow.
Hata uvimbe
Johnny V, big up Johnny V. Mimi sasa nilikuwa mtu wa muziki hiyo wakati. Nilikuwa napenda.
Unapi genre gani? Which genre are you doing?
Mimi nikimba mimi ni mtu wa hip hop. I grew up hating Kapuka. Unajua ndio time Kapuka iko inapenda kwa mtaani. So nasikiaga mtu kama
kina Kenrez.
Sasa acha na Kenrez sana hao lakini pia kuna hata mbunge yenu alikuwa hapa Starehe.
Jago.
Yes, very good music lakini hiyo time nilikuwa naisikizaga alafu kuna vile nilikuwa nimebrainwashiwa against Kapuka. So nasikia navuka zaidi yao na shino navuka jiana. Hakuna mahali unaenda.
Lakini mbunge saizi alivuka.
Rada safi. Big up PS actually ni CAS ni vile tu koti ni kukata lakini tulikuwa tumepatia CAS wa Jago alikuwa tumepatia CAS ya nini can't remember but we had given you CAS for something
yeah.
Koti ikakata the 51 position
with
roundabout.
Hold on. I think it's more of this community of Kapuka guys. I'm not saying in a bad. They are knocking those hip hop guys. Please let me. Please let me.
Why is that?
Please let me.
Kapuka wants hip hop to let them.
Yes.
We cannot allow that.
In fact, even their spirit, they are singing. They are. Please let me. No, we have to categorize these things seriously.
Kapu.
If it's hip hop, it's hip hop.
Lakini mimi for some reason sipendi Kapuka. Mimi kivyangu mimi napenda hip hop.
I think my biggest in fact I've grown to love Kapuka because I think music is universal. Right? Mi utanipata nimesikiza Britney Spears iko shindo ufala kwani msenge nini. Check. But I swear nilikuwa kitambo nilikuwa nimetoboa masikio. Nilienda huko jamaa kutoboa masikio akaanza nitoboe masikio gani akaniambia if you pierce on the left you're fine, if you pierce on the right there's something for it. So I told him put 2 on my left because I'm double straight. Yeah. But just to get back to music.
You're too straight.
Yeah, I'm too straight.
Double.
So nikasikia nini anasemaje back to music. Kapuka mimi sikuwa na siku hizi naisikiza. Ile actually nishinda kabisa ni kinaitwa Gengeton. And there's nothing wrong with Gengeton. I think Gengeton is ni mziki mpoa lakini ni mziki ya hii time. Now unfortunately imekuja aftanisha. Unaona vile tulikuwa tunasema mzee anafika mahali kwa life yake kuna wada lingine. So I think the problem I have with Gengeton is most of the time I think it reminds me so much of the youth that I want to forget. Pia mimi ni mzee, mimi ni baba Nyambura, kuna macho mingi zinaniangalia. So it reminds me of a time when I was a little more independent. I was reckless. I could do things. Hiyo mziki iko na ujeuri.
Ulikuwa free.
Nilikuwa na ujeuri ingine. Unajua ingine haifai. Get? And then now I got to a point where so I understand where Gengeton is. It's just not for me. It's like when Kina Nameless would hear. Even Kina Nameless, they might not admit it, but because maybe they like music. But hata kuna sana nasikia watu wanasikia muziki hii nataka ni Gen Z
ishaanza kushuka hiyo. I think sahi.
Lakini tulipatana kwa maklaba tubagui.
Jumini nilikuwa mtu wa genge mbaya. Sasa genge ndio muziki ya rika. Machali leo hamtalala.
Mwanzo wa Nairobi.
Inside.
Ndio sana.
Na Isa.
Of course. Bumbumba imefanya tupewe pano tukiwa chuo. Bumbumba.
Bumba
katika
Big Pin K-Rap. Isa Amani.
No nini lazima.
Ule mtu amebaki peke yake mwenye leo lazima tu big up Nyash.
Yo. Baba yao.
Nashisikia amesurvive jani.
Lakini yule mzee mimi nakumbuka nikiwa ile time nikiwa primary nasikia ngoma yake hivi. Buda nilikuwa natoka tu hivi nakimbia mtaa the beat. Yaani ushatoka
unaenda kusikia kile kitu.
Unajua hiki
umeshika lyrics zote.
Kama ningekuwa msanii wa sanaa ya silaha ningekuwa na jamii ya Saddam kama saba na
bunduki na makofia
kabilari bidhaa za kujijali tu hali mshauri sikiza sauti kutoka Kenya mpaka Saudi Arabia majabu ya Musa Firauni huyo kijana anafanya vipusa wa town wamwe mashati mapadri kama waoni waziri na sasa sikiza history vizuri jamaa rap naifanyia chapa na mafanzo
wanaonipenda jamaa
so kama wewe unipendi
siwezi jali hata
kawe ni MC stick dawa tunafaa kuweza kutumia hivyo sikuchukia wadiji wanatawala industry na wewe bado
uko chini
kabla jina yako igrow jipende kakane ama lazima nikutukane
ujulikane
hip hop ni culture ya
usisahau
walikwambia sikuchukia na kudharau
bado kwa kicha hiyo
mimi nilikuwa natoka system unajua ikifika tu 5:15 the beat hii ngoma lazima ikuje juu kulikuwa na matop na
kulikuwa na top 7
at 7 alafu tunaenda kwa If D'Souza top 9 at 9 it's not homework tulikuwa na top 4 at 4 Easy FM
lakini
unaona ngoma yako imepanda chata
yesterday ilikuwa number 6 number 5 na ni fala fulani kutoka kwa studio anapiga hizo mahesabu
sasa excuse mnafuatilia hizo vitu kuna
top 7 at 7 na it's not homework top 9 at 9
lakini nani
I'm sure ziko I don't listen to radio anymore
nani azekange Talio Yando azekange
the night nurse
she's old but she's
old now she shows it
no but she's sexy as fuck
mommy you're sexy as fuck checky you're not old well you know what I mean
me I think she's I mean me I can anyway sendo huko lakini huo dem
shimo mbaya ni ya nyoka na hiki tu si sabuni haishagi chuma lazima ije kwa reli
sabuni kuulize kiongozi unaona kama ile design Jaguar
kuna watu tunataka kusahau kabla tuingie hapo kwa hiyo nataka kuniambia
nani
we should we let me see your hands up baby na wase
tumetoka Githurai
walikuwa wanaitwa nani
Mr. Gooks Binibando na walikuwa wanaitwa nani noise not necessary noise
mimi na mabeshe kule chini Githurai alafu sasa kwa mato amehangwa vita yo na wase
Azizi
na sisi na wale hiyo ni necessary noise ati niko ndani ya kanina shumfukoni sema dadararira umezusha na makara alaidi sasa unajua kina nazi ni wazee kuniliko sasa nilifika hiyo rika alaidi najipata niko ndani ya kanina shumfukoni
unaona ilikuwa ni serious
kwani ilikuwa hata walikuwa
waliwezaje kuingia kanina kidogo
hiyo time ashi ilikuwa
wazee wako ndani ya manini na wewe
no mzee mwingine alikuwa sema story ya Nairobi sasa this ati twende tukawake
rest in peace my G
RIP tupitie sauti kashamba kabambe
na watu wangu wa sauti gambino
sio respect mzee kitambo wao walikuwa mtambui lakini huo nigga ni mreal
Prezo ametry
asiye ametuni nigga ni mreal
excuse me
sasa umechekia sasa na podcast mzee
mimi Prezo na
MP wa Kibra Prezo mbona ulishindwa na kiti ndogo
lakini si sasa recommend by ataingia
ukajua you were saying something about Jaguar pole I
was saying now what is your take on kama venye Jaguar alitoka kwa muziki akaingia kwa siasa I think that is what do you think about that is that the way maybe unaweza pata sasa msanii msanii alafu in the future ameamua sasa let me now venture different
sasa hivi venye kwa siasa so unafaa kusaidia wasanii venye labda waliona mashida venye ziko implement hizo must 90% play Kenyan music kama 70
in fact I would have expected that Charles Jaguar would have come up with more creative laws to do with with the creative side of I really don't think he did anything I don't think ama kama iko kitu ulido unaweza tokea kwa the trips show Jaguar tuambie ulido nini mimi sijui ulido nini mimi sijui to be honest really mimi najua tu ulivuka zaidi yao lakini
he hasn't done anything for us for the artists
but it is very possible lakini hata Professor J
even the other guy from Uganda, we call him what, the guy who's
Bobby Wine.
He's giving the guy hell. Imagine anatishia old president. So it shows there's a lot of power in music and art.
Bobby Wine, the American puppet.
American puppet.
You think he's an American puppet?
Not really. Not really.
It's not fighting. It's not the voice of the people. Maybe it's the voice of the people.
Well, it's very hard to tell the difference between the voice of the people and I mean, you'll tell us what happened to Gaddafi was voice of the people, and what Trump was trying to do in Venezuela was voice of the people.
Wait, what about Trump? Trump anaingia next year?
Trump will be the 45th and the 47th.
So
take it to the bank. If Biden becomes president again, look for me. I will pay you.
Walai.
I will look for him personally.
Biden aingi tena Biden.
Well, I think Biden is just not. Well, if I was an American, I would have voted Trump. And just to be clear, for the avoidance of doubt, people might think me voting for Trump means I love Trump. I disagree with Trump on very many policies. His foreign policy, especially on immigration, I think there's too much collateral because. I understand people might have come to your country illegally, but not all of them are crooks. So when you have a blanket treatment of all of them, the people who suffer the most are the innocent. So I have a problem with his immigration policy. What else? I disagree with Trump on a couple of issues.
But why do you want him to become? Or you're saying he will become? Not.
Well, I think a World War III is coming faster if Biden remains. No, with Biden as president.
That guy is sick in the head.
Trump is a deal maker. Trump kept Russia in check. I mean, in fact, Trump is the only president. I heard him say that some time back. But he's the only president who, under his watch, Russia did not invade any country. Under Bush 43, Putin went to He went to Georgia. And in fact, walikuwa wamekaa kwa Olympics. I think the Olympics were in Japan. Wamekaa hivi Trump, as not Trump, George W. Bush. Trump, Putin amekaa mali huko nyuma. Putin is being told, "Oi, this guy has gone into Georgia at the Olympics." So even if you see that video, you have to see there's a time kuna watu wanatolewa hapo ndio Putin akuja akae karibu na Bush. Bush anamuuliza, "Sasa ni nini umedu?" Na Putin anamuonyesha, "Mimi hakuna kitu nimedu." You get? Under Trump, under George W. Bush, he went to Georgia. Under the Obama administration, he took Crimea. Under the Biden administration, he's taken the whole of Ukraine. Under the Trump administration, Putin remained put.
Putin said put.
Yes. North Korea was working. Now, oil is now $100 a barrel.
A barrel, yeah.
How much money do you think Putin is making out of this war?
Sick, man.
All right? Trump is a deal maker. If you ask me, I think he would have made a better deal. In fact, I think if he was president, the war in Ukraine would never have happened. Yeah? That's what he says. That's what he believes, and I agree with him. I believe him to some extent. I think Democrats have a problem with foreign policy. They're not very good when it comes to foreign policy. They're just not good deal makers. I think Trump. But anyway.
No, we'll wait. Let's wait.
Mimi ni Mkenya, niko na ngao.
Uko na ngao hapo. Ngao ya Kenya.
Let's get it.
So last time Lex ongea story ya aliens pale. Watu wakakushuku kidogo, lakini juzi umesikia Mexico mabones yamepatikana What do you think about aliens? Tunacheka.
Activity.
Aliens, beings from another universe. Another world.
Aliens ziko. I think yes. Anything that was, it depends on what you mean when you say aliens. What do you mean when you say aliens?
It's a being from another planet.
A foreign being. Something that is you're not used to seeing it. Yeah. You get? So what do you mean when you say they saw bones in Mexico? Aliens have bones.
They found skeletal structure of aliens. They studied it. They found the DNA is not of this world.
So for the purposes of this conversation, the context that you're using the bones, they are not human remains.
They are not human. They were extraterrestrial.
But you're calling them bones. Why?
See, they look like bones.
Because they look like bones.
Structure. Let's say skeletal structure.
Okay. But of something that is not human
or known.
Even in terms of the matter.
Yeah, even the DNA. It's not known.
They would be actually light years away.
Okay.
So do you believe
in
such
aliens?
things exist?
Yes. Well, yes. I believe such things are there. I believe there are things that we have not witnessed in this generation that we might never witness. Like our forefathers saw dinosaurs. Right? As we will never see them. Like for me, I'm worried for my kids because there are certain animals I saw growing up that will be extinct. Right? Even the kids of my kids. Kuna vitu hawatawaiona. So then will those be aliens to them?
Maybe, yeah.
Will they consider them aliens? When you're saying an alien, you're meaning an oval shaped head. What was it? Did you get your kichwa? That dinosaur egg kind of head. Na tumacho too biggy, coming out from a UFO. Are UFOs there? In its literal term.
Yeah, are UFOs there?
In its literal term, they are there. Unidentified flying objects. Yes. We cannot ascertain for a fact that this is a plane. Sawa. Hii kitu imepita lakini hadi hapana ndege, hii si ndege.
Or is a flying saucer.
So is it a UFO? Yes, in that context it is.
In Mexico they call it a flying sombrero.
Yes.
But not from an alien.
What is your interpretation of an alien? Someone who performs magic. Mtu akona kaje ka kijiti.
For the sake of the question.
All the magicians say one. Magic one.
Maybe get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
So magic one.
For the sake of the question, to interpret aliens kama
aliens ni nini?
Foreign beings.
For the sake of this
a being from another planet.
From another planet.
Another star system.
That I believe there.
Is
there life out there? I'm asking you, is there life out there? The stars.
It is possible that there could be life out there. No, you know the story of these guys who brought gold to South Africa. It's called
I'm not sure.
The Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki.
It's called the Anunnaki. Was the Anunnaki? Were they human beings or were they aliens?
Giant beings, or?
Yes. Anunnaki. Most studies have shown that they were people from a different planet.
Yeah, and during the time of the floods, so they managed to devise a means to escape
the planet.
Yes, the floods.
And now me, I'd like to ask. All right, if you're from another planet and you have life, does that make you human?
I don't think so.
So life does not only belong to human beings and plants.
Human beings are classification.
That's a good point.
A human being is a classification of a being.
And of the most intelligent mammal.
We can't say we are most intelligent. We don't know. But
so far we are. So you go argue with a whale. God damn it.
Wait, but there are things other beings can do we can't do.
Like swim. That has nothing to do with intelligence. That is physical capability is not a measure of intelligence.
No.
All right. A mermaid can swim better than I can. All right. It can hold its breath for longer than I can.
That's its gift.
Well, can it think? Can it do algebra?
That's our gift.
If today
that's our gift.
If today I went and
that's our gift. You can't do what it can do.
Yes, but I'm talking about intelligence.
Intelligence now.
Imagine what is intelligence?
Right now we're doing a podcast.
It is from intellect. It is from reason. It is from facts form the foundation of rational thought.
That's our gift.
Is our gift intellect or physical capability? Because I cannot swim like a fish, but a fish cannot tell you. Today, if I asked a fish, what is the square root of b squared minus n? A fish can't tell me shit.
It doesn't need to know that.
It does not need to know that.
A fish doesn't know Sokatoa.
So yes. At 7, 9, 11. So now a fish is more intelligent than I am in the water.
Yeah.
So he's a monkey.
That's what you're trying to say.
But you have described intelligence. If you describe intelligence the way you were describing it.
What is intelligence?
What is intelligence?
Because
what is
intelligence to a fish?
It's abstract thinking.
I would say
intelligence.
As far as
logical thing 1 + 1 is 2.
Abstract thinking is part of it, but also logical thinking is a big part of it.
You know me, I think what makes us human is the ability to empathize. Because right now there's a conversation about AI.
It's not intellect.
AI, yeah.
Listen, there's a conversation about AI. So unaona kama computers kianza kitambo. Unaona venye kompyuta zilianza ilikuwa tu ni ka box. Si ndio? Mazee ati unapata 1 MB inatoshana na hii kikombe.
Kitambo hata ilikuwa building bana.
Right now we can fit 32 gigabytes in something the size of a SIM card. Si ndio?
In a grain of sand.
So what I'm saying in relation to the AI conversation going on right now, unaweza pata say these are the developing stages. I'm not saying it is the case. I'm saying unaweza pata right now we're in the developing stages of the intellectual capacity of AI. Tuko pamoja. So that means maybe in the next 100 years utapata the ability of AI right now is different from the ability of AI in the next 100 years. So in the next 100 years, this robot can be able to build a house. Hii robot inaweza amka iende wera. Hii robot inaweza kuwa inafanya kila kitu yenye human would have done.
Now it can replace human beings,
but it cannot empathize like a human being.
Maybe empathy can be created in some way.
That's what they are trying to reach.
I don't think you can improvise. I always improvise emotional because
empathy is an act of God. Because I think the only thing that animals that AI has that we do not have is the God factor.
It's the God factor.
Right?
Mimi nakuunga mkono. The rest will disagree.
I don't think that. Empathy is just something that can be created. That's what I believe. Something that exists.
The ability to kuelewa.
Anything can be created. Yeah. That's what I believe.
So I can teach a machine to give this guy a hug.
I think someone can. I think you can program it. That's what I think. Because we are programmed in some way.
But I can fake happiness. I can fake
society programs.
There's a fake happiness.
I can program a machine to fake happiness.
Yeah, but me I can fake happiness. Maybe machine imeprogramiwa ikiona niko sad nikuje in hug. Sasa mi na fake.
Mbona ujioni kama machine? Maybe you're a biological machine. That's how nature
machine
made the only difference I was made by God and AI is made by man. Now the God factor is very critical for the purposes of this conversation. If it's going to
the maana sasa kuagi jumia I believe God in another way.
Unajua sasa ikishafika hapo inakuwa ni mambo tofauti. Sisi tunasema kuli ayu al-kafirun la abdu ma tabudun wala antum. Well, I should finish it.
That Muslim.
But for the purposes of this conversation,
Islam.
Lakum dinukum waliyadi.
You're Islam.
Yeah. I proclaim the Muslim faith.
The Muslim faith.
I proclaim the Muslim.
But you know, the Anunnaki, they are also termed as creator gods.
What do you mean when you say creator gods?
Who created the Anunnaki?
Who created them? They came to us.
There are people who believe that the white man was
and they passed
is genetically modified.
Skills to humans during that time. There are some humans who are serving the Anunnaki who inherited their skills.
Oh yeah, but kuna hiyo theory. But I don't think the Anunnaki are so powerful. I think the
Anunnaki, they inherited their skills.
Yes, but
you know, if you go to the story of creation, have you read the book of Eli or the book of Enoch?
Yeah. I would you listen.
Iliwaogopesha.
Mimi nilistua.
Okay. Now Enoch says the story of well, I think it's also in another book in the Bible, I'm not sure, but there's a story of he want to malaika. Unajua when malaika walikuja chini
wakaanza kuprocreate na
yes and from them came giants that like you say.
You know about Genesis.
But even before that they are the ones who taught human beings how to make spoons. And make cutlery, because that was magic. That was only allowed in heaven. Human beings did not know how to do that. But then it would mean that if you agree with that, then you would have to believe in the story of creation. And if you believe in the story of creation, that it means you believe in God.
In God, yeah.
Right? A God as in the context of the Bible and the Al-Quran. And Al-Quran, see, you know, Al is the, so there's no point of using the Al-Quran.
They're different. They have different conceptions. The Islam.
Well, Christianity has two counts of creation.
Two. I thought it's one.
No, there's the first account of creation.
Day 1 to 7.
Yes, day 1 to 7 varies. On I think day 5 of one and day 6 of the other, fish and whatever alternate. So whatever was made on the 5th day is made on the 6th day, and
there's a tribe in Senegal who have the same concepts of God.
The same story.
The same story.
Of which one?
Of creation. Day 1 day until day 6. That's exactly as the Bible.
As the Bible. But the Bible has two accounts of creation.
That one I plan today.
You don't know?
I only knew one.
Go and Google me. You know, I was a 30 out of 30 CRE. And even 30 out of 30
even more reason to Google.
Google the first and second accounts of creation according to CRE. Islam has one account.
So, which one do you believe in?
Well, I proclaim the Muslim faith.
So this other one is bullshit.
Well, you know, like I told you, I was trained as a lawyer. And you know, when you're a lawyer, anything that fails under cross-examination is void to the extent of the inconsistency. All right? You cannot tell me that Aleki was wearing a black hat today, and then when I ask you the next time, you tell me he was wearing a white hat. Oh, maybe I don't know. Right? The minute you do that, it has failed under cross-examination. That is why we have cross-examination in criminal trials.
Is fixed unless measured.
No, the truth is the truth. Say again.
Reality is fixed. There's this saying: reality is fixed unless measured. I think it's that way. That's what you're saying in essence.
What does that mean, though?
Reality is fixed until it's measured.
Inamaanisha nini?
reality is measured
Oh, reality cannot be deemed fixed.
Until it is measured.
Until it's measured. Yeah, it's actually supposed to be. Reality cannot be deemed fixed unless measured.
Yes, lazima uiweke kwa ratili. You must play around with it in your head. And that is why science came up, because there are things religion could not explain. All right, religion was telling us you believe. And of course, faith remains the evidence of things not seen. I think they say that somewhere.
Evidence of the unheard.
Faith is important for religion. But now science is about what they can prove. It's about what makes sense.
So
but
Christianity doesn't make sense.
Not Christianity, religion. Let us use religion.
Religion includes Islam.
Let us not limit it to Christianity.
The people behind this religious dogma is...
We are talking about Christianity and Islam.
So this is a vis-a-vis case. So we are comparing Christianity to Din Islam.
Yeah. You said this one passes all the...
I'll tell you the Christianity fails under cross-examination when you ask yourself a few questions here and there.
Give us an example.
I just gave you one of how do you have two accounts of creation. It is either this was created on this day or this one. They can't be both. All right? And also there's the fact that Jesus is made to be God. I don't know whether that is accurate. Maybe from what I understand is
Jesus is the Son of God and is God.
Yeah, if yes, right. Jesus is a creation of God. He's not the Son of God, and the only way he can be a Son of God is in the same aspect as David was. Right? David was the man who was after God's heart.
Or maybe the same aspect as we are ourselves.
Yes. That is it is only in that context that Jesus Christ can be the Son of God. But to make him God, there's no God the Father and God the Son and God the Holy Spirit. There's only God. Right? Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Right? I don't understand you, but
yeah, that's fine. Is for God to say
let there be.
Kun fayakun.
Kun fayakun.
Yes, let there be, and there shall be. All right, and that is what the Lord said. That is what Angel Gabriel told the Virgin Mary. That hata ijalishe ujaguzwa.
But nimeona unajua
that is the only person.
Najua siari na ayari. Na I can even tell you iko wakati since the time of Eden,
who has ever conceived supernaturally?
Supernaturally?
Yes.
There's no one who conceived supernaturally. What do you mean supernaturally? It was just Mary.
Maybe
it was Mary.
There's another story.
And that was direct act of God. And Muslims don't deny that, and Christians don't deny that.
Now Sarah.
The only thing is
Sarah?
Jesus, God.
By the way, what about Sarah?
God made Mary.
Sarah
got a kid when she was...
Sarah, nani alilala na yeye? Abraham alilala na yeye.
Walisema hivyo?
It was physical. The only person who was conceived without male intervention in the whole of Din, in religion as I know it, is Mary.
Wait, in Islam, do you believe Mary existed? Yeah?
Mary existed, and she asked God for a sign, and God told her that your sign is that you will not be able to talk to people with words, only by actions. Paka ile siku kijana yako atazaliwa. Sijui kama tunaelewa.
So kwa Islam ilikuwa hiyo conception bila...
It was without Joseph. It was without Yusuf.
Right? Do you think that was an intervention point to reach out to the human spirituality during that time?
Now, God has delivered over 20 prophets.
But just look at that.
The last being the prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Before him being Isa bin Maryam, who you call Jesus Christ. He was also a prophet. Right? But he was not God. He was not God. He was the Son of God, and the Al-Quran. No, he was not the Son of God. The problem is the misconception, the text, the misrepresentation in that text. For the simple reason, when you say Son of God, what do you mean?
Yeah.
The problem that Muslims most have is to say is likening a human being to God.
Yeah,
that is the biggest problem that we have. But because what you're trying to say is blasphemy. One, it's either you're making a human being God, which is shirk.
What is shirk?
Shirk ni kumshirikisha Mwenyezi Mungu, which is blasphemy. Right? Or it is making God man.
That's
and man is not God.
That's shirk.
It is the same thing. You cannot. Yes.
Lakini kiongozi ukiangalia, I think even the Christians misinterpret the Bible because I remember some was reading in the Bible. Jesus told people how to pray.
Our Father who art in heaven.
When you pray and say, Jesus, I come to you. Aliwaambia ombeni hivi.
And on the last day, according to Al-Quran,
they normally use pedestalizing pedestalizing religion. Tunaweka religion on a pedestal. Hilo linaleta hii shida yote.
You know, first Lex you should tell us what you believe in. You know, Lex has not told us what he believes.
What do you believe in?
Me, I believe in self-spirituality. Religion.
What is that?
What is self-spirituality?
What is that?
It's more of your higher self. You link with source. Wewe mwenyewe utaita Allah.
Na ndo niulize swali moja tu, nilikuwa nataka kuuliza hii swali. Na nitaanza na wewe Alex. Do you believe,
because if you look at it like,
let me ask my question. Do you believe there is a God? Do you believe there is a God?
There's a supreme being.
There's a supreme being. You believe
well,
that?
Is the supreme being responsible for creation?
Yes.
We exist because of the supreme being.
Yes.
So we can also die at the behest of the supreme being.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nice. Continue. So that is your faith.
That is my faith.
But you believe in God.
Yeah, he just has a problem with calling God Allah or Jehovah. But he believes in God.
He calls it or him or her.
Maybe even you cannot define God by a name.
No, that's another thing. Is God a woman or a man?
It's like there is somebody can try.
I swear.
That's a good question.
Because, you know me, I'm a father. I don't know how many of us here are fathers, but I'm sure quite a number.
Yeah, quite a number.
Me, I know. So, when I compare the love the mother of my child has for
the child,
my baby, and the love that I offer, hers is closer to God. All right? It is, she understands the baby in a way I cannot. Mimi ni mse watu wakicheza hapo nje waanze kulia, hiyo mchezo inaishi hapo. Kujeni mkae hapa muone TV.
That is now where the higher self come.
Mama yao ni mse atawatolerate, atabembeleza huyu mmoja mwenye amekatisiwa, aende akae nao hapo nje, wacheze, awakatakatie machungwa, wakae nini, wafanye ufala yote.
Lakini why is it times za kitambo? When in our culture, in African culture, once a young man, a young boy, not a man, a young boy, once he has gone through the rite of passage,
initiation,
which is in some cases circumcision, in some cases it's a removal of the front teeth, whatever the hell it was. But once this person is initiated into a different level, hizi kana mamake tena. Unaona? So I think maybe us men we show compassion and love to kids in a different way than mothers do. Unajua?
Yes.
The balance must be there.
And which one is closer to God's love?
I think
is it agape love? I hear there are 4 types of love. There is agape, there is I don't know. Can't remember.
Unconditional.
Yes, but that one is, which one is closer to unconditional? Is it the mother's love or the mzae's love?
Okay, na depend pia na mzae.
Hey, your mzae will tell you to go suck a dick in a heartbeat. Go fuck yourself, my G. Your mom will never do that. Sijui kama tunaelewana. There's just something that is very different
About moms.
There's a fundamental difference in the love that a father offers.
So God is a woman.
His love is feminine. His love is feminine. If I'm still to retain what I've been taught, to respect God as a man. But right now in Gikuyu culture, I don't know if any of you has read Facing Mount Kenya.
Yeah.
I have not.
But in the beginning, the Gikuyu women had the power over men, and the only way men could make them useless is when anamwaga ndani. They realized, nikimwaga ndani udema anakuwa zingi. Kitatokea hivi. Ndio kiongozi bana. But because that women were the warriors, women took care of they were the dominant sex. In terms of ability, might,
spiritually.
It was women, even in Gikuyu culture.
On that one, you were saying is love encompasses the feminine side. It is both.
I think they're both needed. They are different, but they're
weighing on the same
needed.
scale.
They are different, yes, but they are all needed.
Unajua, growing up,
they're all needed for the child to.
The male side.
Let me tell you something, you guys. You know me personally from experience growing up. Ukigrow ulikuwa unaona you know when mamako anakubembeleza, unaanguka kidogo baba.
Haya hizo.
Lakini
inakubalance unagrow.
Let me tell you something. Unaona now that I'm a grown man. Me think my dad cared about me more. You know why? Because yeye alionyesha reality ya life. Mazee utaanguka kuna mtu atakama.
As a boy child you would say that. I don't know whether you have the same opinion as a girl.
Which you shouldn't. Which
as men you are very nurturing even to women. Wajua ukipenda dem utafanyia kila kitu.
Hebu nikuulize afadhali ule msana kuambia huko mbele ni kubaya ama ule msana. You know, okay, let me talk. So unaona ni mdogo. So unaona for example, listen, umeanguka.
Men are logical, women are emotional.
Unaona umeanguka, si ndio? Umeanguka. Hold on.
Which one is better for love?
Hold on guys. Hold on.
Emotional.
Alex, you guys, ebu pause.
Listen to him.
Listen Alex. Umeanguka, si ndio? Umekuja mamako amekubembeleza and then your dad is like we, ebu amka. Aya, Alex, for example uko mdogo, si ndio? In most cases umeenda shule, maybe you are a boy. I won't speak for the ladies because the ladies need a bit of a softer life than us, unaona? Uko shule, someone has bullied you. Si ndio? Mimi niko sure out of all of us here, our dads, kama usha report bullying case kwa babako, atakwambia aje ati
enda upigane wewe mwana.
Enda hata umpige ngumi, unaona?
Si inafaa hivyo.
Lakini in real life unaona
mama yako atakuja shule. Ukiambia mother anakuja kuona teacher.
Mother anakuja kuona teacher.
Mzee wangu aliniambia amegonga.
Lakini in the long run, now that you are a man, saizi mimi naona enyewe ule msali niambia nene nigongane ngumi alinisaidia because outside here if you get knocked down, you stand up and knock them back down, you see? So I think
love zote ni important.
They're important. My question was not the value of my question. I was not questioning the value. My question was which one is most likened to God's love?
Unconditional.
I think hata ni ya mzai juu. Even God,
me I think ni both.
Unaona even God in the Bible.
You know God kuna time atakuwa kwa trial anakuacha kidogo.
Chums unafikiria nini?
Kama kwenye job
anakuwa na soft na wewe.
I need to hear you on this one.
You remember like there's a fellow in the Bible called Job. You know ukitaka kusema God's love is feminine, then the story of Job will make you really doubt that.
No, Job was a warrior. Me I can
God aliacha.
Sababu you know the devil deal with Job perpendicularly. You know like deal
so hiyo ni mbuyu anakuacha udeal na hiyo. Hiyo ni mbuyu yako anaacha udeal na hiyo kitu.
No, there's a book I'm reading, it's called You Are What You Think by Dr. David Stupe. And it's trying to tell you that how you choose to think is what determines the situation you'll find yourself in.
And
he tells you that Job was the biggest warrior he ever came across.
Are you talking about warrior?
God does not change. Warrior. I said warrior. It's worry. It's worry. I mean worry. Worry. Wait, watu wangu mimi sio Diero. Mimi kizungu sijui sana, but I meant worry. Ile anxiety, ile work, ile.
I thought it's warrior.
No. He's the biggest warrior.
How?
Because
he never doubted
he had
God.
Everything, but he always worried about whether someone has stolen his cattle, whether the sacrifice he gave to God was the best, whether, despite the fact that he had all these things.
I've never had that, yeah.
Right?
That's a new perspective.
And he's not the only person who worried about useless things, because God is constant.
So God doesn't like worry.
God does not let you go, whatever, no matter what. God remains constant.
So God doesn't like worry.
The love, yes, nobody likes worry. God does not like warriors.
Yeah. But he allows it.
He allows it because, yes, that is what he gives us human beings. Now, Elijah defeated the 450 prophets of Baal and their Queen Jezebel and their King Ahab. Was it Ahab?
You remember those stories?
I remember all those facts.
He was a
Now, you know what those facts did? Yeah, I'm 30 out of 30, my G. Yeah, on these streets, I'm hotter than the devil. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, Elijah is capable of doing all this by God's might. In fact, before he needs that sacrifice, he pours water on it. Before he offers his burnt offering, he pours water on the altar, so making it almost impossible to light with fire. All right, but a cloud comes, kujas from the top, akishas his nini. The 450 prophets of Baal couldn't do shit. Hawakuweza kuakisha nini yao. All right. Now after disgracing those ninis, Jezebel is out for his life. You know what he does? This fucker goes up to the mountains to hide, forgetting what God has done for him in the presence of 450 wicked men, plus their king and queen. So God has not changed. God is the same. And by the way, me says you pastor because I proclaim the Muslim faith. But if I don't make it before 40, mtaniona kwa matatu near you. Nani asifiwe.
My faith is becoming stronger. Are you saying Atibal doubted God and he had been delivered from
the 450 fucks? He destroyed all the 450 fucks.
Some evil motherfuckers.
Yeah. So this jamaa ameweza kumaliza hii watu yote, but he's still doubting God's protection over his life.
He was able to defeat 450 people.
Yes.
And then
with nothing.
Nani huyo alimtishia?
See, their queen who was Jezebel is now after his head. One only. Yeah, na maybe King Ahab. And he's worried. And Elijah gets into a state of worry that makes him incapable of thinking rationally. You know, facts form the foundation of rational thought. But now he's like, now I have to go and hide. Why has God deserted me? Nimeshinda hawa watu, lakini now I have to hide myself from this mama. And you know, God hasn't changed for him. Right? God is like, even in both times when God talks to him, he doesn't ask him, I'm console. Anamuliza, Elijah, what are you doing here? It's like, why are you in this state? What are you doing? But when he starts to change his self-talk, when Elijah starts rejoicing in the Lord, and
self-talk.
His self-talk is what determines me. You know, I've told you.
The book you are reading right now.
Yes, David Stoop. It's called "Who You Are, What You Think." It's a very interesting read.
We should find it.
You all should look for it sometime.
Okay, to finish up, I want to ask if you know some tweets. You know Amerix? You don't know Amerix, the Caliph Cairo?
I've heard of Caliph Cairo. I don't know Caliph Cairo.
He said, Kibe was next. You know Andrew Kibe?
Yeah, I've heard of Kibe. Kibe is very controversial.
You subscribe to his school of thought?
I don't listen to him. I haven't listened to him before. So I would, I meet Kibe by mistake. Maybe when I'm scrolling through Instagram, or maybe I'll hear him on some tabloid, but I've never really looked out for Kibe. So. But I will look out for you, Kibe. I see you're a famous guy. Yeah, I'll be looking for you soon.
You don't know Kibe?
I know Kibe, I just don't know what he's into.
Mimi naona Tim Kibe mbaya sana.
Tim Kibe. Masculinity.
Masculinity. You know Kibe, the reason why people hate him is because Kibe is saying what people are afraid to say outside here. Huyo mzee anasema, unajua vitu anasema tu ukiangalia critically, like hata utakaa tu unaweza kataa in front of people, lakini ukikaa peke yako tu hivi. Ukae tu ujiulize yenyewe mzee anasema nini.
Ukijiita kikao.
Ukijiita tu kikao ujiulize na mzee anasema ukweli. Ni ngumu useme anasema uongo. It's hard for you to resist that he's saying the truth. He is, lakini watu wanaogopa tu. You know, I think he's doing a good thing in bringing back the masculinity that we had all lost. Some pussies are walking around here wanaume. You know, behaving like
wanaume mabinti.
Sims
maze. Buddha, hapana bana. Lazima we must be men again, honestly. We are men, even the boys.
But to the right mama, every man is a simp.
That's your wife. That's your wife, huh?
I love you, baby. Nakupenda sana.
Let's say to the right mama.
To the right mama, every man is a simp. It's a simp.
So choose your battle.
That's not true. You just haven't come across the right mama.
That's true.
Yeah, man. There's a mama who'll hold you down. And you're like,
lakini uombe tu asikusafisha. Ni uombe tu.
Anaweza switch up anytime. Unajua binadamu ni ule ule. Binadamu ni ule ule.
Ikasirika na yeye anakuacha hivyo one time.
Anakuacha ama anakuua.
You know when I used to be younger,
mtu anakuwekea still ulikuwa chakula. Anaenda saa ngapi? Acha kufa.
Kweli kabisa.
Two more names.
Kuja na mapumbe zao.
Osama Otero. Yes or no?
Osama? I don't know Osama.
Kafangi?
Osama Otero, Kafangi.
No.
It's okay.
We, nyinyi hizo majina mmesikia, mnajua Wangara Leroy?
Kati.
Kiongozi.
Waulize.
Nauliza, well, tunafaa tujuane.
So maybe utakuwa kwa ballot 2027?
Niko inside, niko ndakas.
Kiti gani?
Tutajaribu MCA kwa mara ya mwisho, lakini inategemea. Hii keki kikubali,
tunaenda mbele.
Gogoyo unaenda home, keki kikubali.
Umejua siri?
Ukweli wa maisha maiji.
Umejua ukweli wa maisha.
So we'll see what happens, but ultimately MCA ni sure bet with or without the money. Somebody remind Eli Gore ni tano tukisonga. Wangara Leroy, rada safi.
Lakini mimi naweza taka uniongoze. You seem like a very simple guy.
Ndugu.
Unaelewa, unatuelewa bana.
Tutapanga kazi maiji.
What do you have to say about Eli?
He's my good friend. Eli is a good friend. He's a good father.
On political level.
Mwanasiasa si mwanasiasa mbaya, ni mwanasiasa hatari, lakini si mtu ya kazi.
Huyo ndio current
MCA yangu na mheshimu sana, lakini si mtu ya kazi. Well, I would do a better job than he does. But he's a very decent human being.
Lakini mimi naweza kupatia
he has a big heart. But yeah, he has a big heart. I don't say he's a bad guy. But Eligor, mimi ndo nakupeleka mtaani. I kid you not. Mapema
ndio best.
Wangara Leroy.
Mapema ndio best.
Rada safi.
See you next time, maze.
Should be
censored.
I am saying that at least it should not be a criminal offense. We can decriminalize marijuana. We do not have to legalize
or maybe reduce
marijuana.
The penalties.
Yes,
utampigia kura next time.
It is to a lesser charge.
Utampigia kura?
Kura yangu inakuanga yake.
Naita badilika. It should be. I think it should be a misdemeanor. If you cannot legalize it, I would hope that I don't see a problem with legal. I have seen people who have legalized it. I mean, Arizona, California. Is it legal in California?
I'm not
California
sure.
is legal
for recreation as well.
Rich Spice California
for recreation as well, or just medicinal. There are states that have valid for
in California
it's medicinal and then also for recreation. So we also have to find the balance in
in terms of the effects maybe on the family, because drugs have a lot of bad effects on families.
That is true.
Can you compare the effects of alcohol? Assuming that a baby is,
but two wrongs don't make a right. That's why I'm trying to avoid the conversation of trying to compare this drug to this drug by saying for the simple reason that this drug is accepted, then we should accept this other one. That I don't think that in my I don't.
Lakini angalia factually, let's look at the fact that many in households zenye unapata maybe unapatanga bazenga ni mlevi, akiingia hivi kwa nyumba kila mtu anaingia chini ya kitanda, unaona. Sasa akija kama hiyo, number one umse in fact the more you consume alcohol you are prone to use even more money because ulikuwa unakunywa mzinga,
and it is more expensive than marijuana anyway.
So sasa unaona mse anakunywa mzinga 3, amekunywa mzinga kama ya 2k, lakini kuna mse anavuta tu bangi zake 2 na tunajuanga, mimi nasikianga atino zangu chwani huko mtaa, sijui lakini nikisikia so mse amevuta tu zake 2, hiyo 1900 amebaki nayo.
Hata kwanza ni rezi aliuziwa moja so
ama aliuziwa moja 100,
lakini sawa, baadaye ametumia Benarwa, umekunywa bob 2.
So, I don't know, I think we should relook at that. Unaona, but these conversations zinasaidia kwa sababu anaanza kufikiria.
Me personally, if I was the president, the day I become the president of this country, if in the case, in the very unlikely case that marijuana will not be legal by that time, because mimi naona hii hata Ruto anaweza toka atuachie hiki kitu kubalika.
Ruto hawezi hiyo.
Mimi sidhani mtu hawezi Rigiji. Aje Rigiji, nusu baadhi.
Rigiji anasema ati mimi sikunywi pombe, hata Kidiki akunywi kokokora. Kidiki hata kokokora akunywi.
Rigiji anaspiga vita mbaya. But ultimately it is a conversation we must have. And me, I'll tell you something. I know people who have stayed with their parents. Their parents knew marijuana was bad. But the perception of their parents has changed because they have seen their kids. Hii mtu anavuta bangi. Na yeye ndio ameniekea kabro kwa compound yangu. Sijui kama tunaelewana. He's not so useless after all. Of course he used this thing which I would rather hope he didn't. But even in the case that he uses it, I have not seen its negative side effects. And there are very many positive stories about marijuana. So I do not think we should limit it to. Well, pia kuna brainwashiwa, my G's. Kweli brainwashiwa. Na mimi sijasema bangi ni mzuri. Sawa?
Bangi is bad.
What I'm trying to tell you guys is there are always 3 sides to a coin.
I think that was the basis behind that. That one we never see.
So Juni life tu yani.